Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode, we're reviewing the October 27th, 2025 episode of Monday Night Raw. And if you haven't seen my videos before, I grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. For this, we kind of try to go segment by segment. In other words, all the interviews and matches that happen in a segment. If a match or interview happens to go through a break, that continues it on, in my opinion. Other than that, basically between break to break. So let's say there's 2 interviews in a match, then they go to a commercial. That's a segment. So we're starting this off. We have the World Heavyweight Championship in the ring. Jey Uso comes down first, talks about what he did last week with Jimmy, gets to his catchphrase, and right when he's about to say 4 words, CM Punk's music hits. Punk comes out, they kind of talk back and forth. Punk kind of, in a almost smart-ass way, congratulates him for listening to himself and not listening to Jey or Roman, and to being willing to do what he wants because Punk is going to do whatever he needs to get that title back. I like this. It gives us the importance of that match, of that title, coming up in Saturday night's main event. I believe this Saturday. Yeah, this Saturday it is. And it actually made me even more interested for this match. I'm already a fan of both of these guys, so seeing this, I think it's going to be awesome. Then we get a backstage segment with the Judgment Day. Finn and JD basically tell Dominic that he's on his own to deal with Rusev and Penta. Roxanne and Raquel say let's stay out of this one. We see that segment end with Dom on the phone, which pays off later. For this opener, I'm going to give this all a 5. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, anytime you get CM Punk on the microphone, it's good. Even though Jey Uso is kind of falling out of favor with the fans, I honestly think he's getting better and more confident in the ring. And especially, this might be weird, but whenever you're in the ring and someone else is talking and Jay's just emoting, I think he's the best in the world at that. He can compel exactly how he feels just with his face. And I think he's better than anybody in wrestling right now doing that. I'm going to give this all a 5. I thought it was a really good opener. That leads us into a match we just kind of talked about. For the number 1 contendership, we have Penta versus Rusev. I was really enjoying this match, and I really wanted this to be a good match. These are 2 wrestlers I enjoy. These are 2 wrestlers I like. I kind of noticed I don't know why I didn't before this, but Rusev slimmed down a lot to the point where he's just not that much bigger than Penta, and Penta's not a gigantic guy. I really enjoyed this. I think these 2 got good chemistry. I think the 2 of them and Dominic have great chemistry, all 3 together, so I do like what's going to happen later. The match gets broken up by the El Grande Americanos. All 3 of them come down, basically get the match thrown out. I was leaning to this being a 4. With that ending, it did take a little bit out of it. I would have much rather seen this match go to a conclusion. I am going to be excited. I don't want to spoil something that happens a little bit later in this review, but I am excited with what came out of this. At the time, as I was reviewing this, as I'm watching, I felt underwhelmed by it. So I'm going to give this a 3. I think it could have been a 4 if there was a finish, in my opinion. Or even if they made it into something where the Americanos had to wrestle Penta and Rusev. I know that's a trope, and I know that's something from the McMahon era that we kind of wanted to get away from, but they haven't done it in a while, so let's do it again. Anyway, I digress. Then we get a promo with LA Knight. I don't know what it is with LA Knight, but I feel like I'm on the opposite trajectory of the Jey Uso LA Knight spectrum, because I still love Jey, and I'm losing interest as the months go on with LA Knight. So yeah, I think I'm on the opposite spectrum of where the fans are on these 2 guys. That leads us into a backstage segment with Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, kind of hyping them up. I kind of gathered from it that this is going to lead into their War Games match, because he was talking about another guy, which the rumor is, if you haven't heard it, their teammates for the War Games match will be Austin Theory and Brock Lesnar. I'm thinking he's talking about Theory because I don't know necessarily that you would hype up Lesnar in that kind of way, because it kind of felt like he was mentioning another guy for part of the faction. That's followed up with a segment with Finn and JD McDonough and Adam Pearce. Then we go into a match. We have Nikki Bella versus Roxanne Perez. And I'm going to say this was my favorite match of the night. It's not perfect, and it's not what you would consider a scientifically great match. But I do respect the hell out of Nikki Bella and what she's doing, even after coming back after basically being retired for a couple of years, I think she's better now than she's ever been. And Roxanne, she's just a phenom. I mean, she's going to be a top-level star for the next 10, 15, 20 years, as long as she wants to go. I enjoyed this match. Like I said, it's not the best match in the world scientifically, but I did enjoy it, and I liked what they did with this, and I like what they're using these storylines and how they're forwarding with that. To me, that's the main difference, and I'm not trying to be tribalist here because I like both shows. AEW, you turn in for the matches. WWE, you turn in for the stories. And WWE gets great matches, and AEW has great stories too. But that's kind of where it is, and I feel like this pushed along the story. We're seeing Raquel Rodriguez get involved. Afterwards, we see Stephanie Vaquer come down. Roxanne did pick up the win here, which I gotta believe she is ecstatic about because we know that she's a fan of the Bellas. She's posted posted pictures of herself with Nikki as a child and recently as a grown-up. I'm gonna give this a 4. Like I said, I think this is my favorite match of the night. This is a really good segment altogether. I really enjoyed this. Next up, we have Lyra Valkyria in the back. She's interrupted by the Kabuki Warriors, and then they're kind of, not necessarily ran off, but Bayley comes in and they kind of talk their trash and go away. Bayley kind of hypes up Lyra. I don't know what they're doing with this. I don't know where they're going with this. Then we get another backstage segment with the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, kind of feeling the tension. I really hope that all of this leads to Jimmy getting pushed up into the upper mid-card main event status, because I do think he should be there. His character work has gotten him there. I think he's kind of, I hate to say it, the Jannetty of the team right now. But I think Jimmy could be elevated. I do like his work. The thing with Jimmy, I like Jimmy's in-ring work more than I like Jay's, but I like Jay's character more, and I think he connects more with the fans. But they both connect. I mean, I've always liked the Usos, so I might be biased. I hope this is a way to get Jimmy into the upper echelon of the talent there. After that, we get Braun Breaker versus LA Knight. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of mentioned in the Nikki Bella Roxanne Perez match how it wasn't necessarily a great technical masterpiece. This wasn't either. I think Braun Breaker needs a better worker in the ring with him right now than LA Knight, and that's not a knock on LA Knight. LA Knight is a good wrestler. I don't think their styles mesh really well, and honestly, this was probably my least favorite match of the night. I did like the end, although it feels like it was timed just a little bit off with Braun kipping up and LA Knight still jumping down and then getting speared. I feel like while he was still on the ropes, he seen Braun kip up. He could have just came down the ropes and been safer. But anyway, Breaker does pick up the win here. I'm going to give this segment a 3. The match is probably what draws it down. That and, honestly, Bipolar Bayley, until I see how this plays out, I don't know if I'm a fan of it. Next up, we have Adam Pearce talking to Dominic Mysterio, who's talking to the Americanos. Dominic, I think Dominic's the best wrestler in the world. I'm just going to come out and say that. I mean, he's got everything. He could go in the ring. He could talk on the mic. Little things he does, like here, where he puts that seed in. Oh, these guys did this without me knowing. Little things like that. It's kind of like what you would see with Eddie Guerrero. And I know everybody draws that comparison, but, I mean, it's obvious he's taken that influence and he's watched tapes and tapes of it. I thought that was awesome. We get another backstage segment with the Usos again, kind of settling their differences. Jay saying, I threw you out, but you said if you had a chance you were going to throw me out. So, are we good? And then they shake and hug and everything. Again, I hope this is all to elevate Jimmy into main event status. I think he deserves it. That leads us into a match. We get JD McDonough versus Sheamus. And in my head, I was thinking, there's no way this is going to be good. But JD continues to impress me. I think the only thing that's going to hold JD McDonough back from being a massive star is the fact that he's so skinny. And I'm hoping maybe he could put on some weight like Finn Balor did. Finn Balor wasn't as skinny as JD, but he was skinnier than he is now. Or AJ Styles. AJ's put on a lot of mass. And in a healthy way. I hope he does it in a healthy way too. But if he could add 20 or 30 pounds to his body, I could see him being a high upper middle card wrestler for a long, long time. He is so good, and he works so well with Sheamus. So Sheamus is a guy we should give his flowers to. I mean, come on, at this point, the banger after banger thing isn't just a catchphrase. He could go with anybody and any style, and it looks great. After some shenanigans with Finn getting involved, JD McDonough picks up the win here. For all of this, the Dominic stuff, the Usos, the match, I'm giving this segment a 4. I thought it was really good. Next up, we have Pierce again. This time he's talking to Maxine Dupree, offering her an Intercontinental title match. Maxine says she wants to talk to somebody and learn how she can negate Becky's devious ways, I guess you would say. I kind of wonder who it was. I'm thinking it was Natalya. I mean, that's almost obvious. But it was kind of cool to see that. Then we get a little thing in the back with Charlotte and Alexa doing an interview. They're interrupted by the Kabuki Warriors, which seems to be an ongoing thing through the night. Oh, and I forgot to mention in the Dominic segment, that's when we learned from Adam Pearce at Saturday night's main event, they're going to have a 3-way with Rusev, Penta, and Dominic Mysterio, which I think is going to be a great match. The Saturday night's main event's looking to be really good. I mean, Punk versus Jay, Cody versus Drew McIntyre, this 3-way, I think it's going to be good. Oh, and Jade Cargill versus Tiffany, I think that's going to be awesome to watch too. Although, kind of think it's time to turn Tiffy heel instead of Jade. Jade's going to be awesome as a heel. Jade works well as either a heel or a face. But I think Tiffy is kind of, for right now, I think she's hit her upper limit as a babyface. I think she has to have more of a Trish Stratus type run where we respect her a lot more before we turn her face again. I think we need to have her as a heel, being a cocky heel for a little bit, because I think she's better at that at this point in her career. But anyway, I digress. That's not on the show, so let's not go on that tangent. We come back from commercial. We see Dragon Lee and AJ Styles, and they're talking with Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is basically saying, you know, you guys are willing to wrestle whoever comes up. We'll get you a great opponent. Then JD McDonough and Finn Balor come in, basically ask for a rematch for the titles, which is set up for the next week. I like this. Again, these 4 guys, I think they're going to put on an amazing match. They did last week, so I enjoy that they're doing that again. They're running it back. That leads us into our main event of the evening. For the Women's World Tag Team Championship, we get Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defending against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Again, I thought this was another really good match. I'm kind of shocked that this is what closed the show. And I know they like to try and do things different and throw things out there that they haven't done before. But I don't feel like this match, there wasn't that build-up or there wasn't that feud building there to have this end the show. I mean, honestly, I probably would have went with Braun Breaker versus LA Knight as the final match of the show just on the popularity. Or if you wanted to do a girls match, I think the Nikki Bella, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, Stephanie McCourt dichotomy would have worked better here because there was more of a story behind it. In other words, basically, with this being basically a cold match, I don't think it necessarily fit in the title picture, but I digress. The match itself I thought was really good. Charlotte and Alexa pick up the win. Almost immediately afterwards, the Kabuki Warriors attacked them, which was, again, an ongoing thread throughout the show. For these last few things, I'm going to give this a 4. Again, I thought it was really good. Overall, I'm going to give this show a 4. I will say, even though I really enjoyed the show, the ending kind of threw me off as a complete show. Like I said, a cold match in the main event. I understand it's for the tag championships, but you also had a number 1 contender match for the Intercontinental title on the show, and other things that you could say have higher stakes. I mean, I guess the tag titles would be the highest stake match on the card, but I digress. I just don't think a cold feud should end the show. I would have even liked to have just, even a promo end the show more than that. Not that it was a bad match. Like I said, I did enjoy it. It didn't feel like a main event. But overall, I'm going to give this a 4. I'm giving the show the benefit of the doubt. I did enjoy most of what I seen, so that way I'm going to give it a 4. But let me know what you think. Was that main event, did that feel like a main event to you, or do you feel like I feel, like there wasn't enough of a build-up for that to be a main event? But anyway, that's my opinion. Like I said, giving the whole thing a 4. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and you've been watching Heel Heat.